When your personal business gets people killed, it's no longer personal business. It's now a matter of the courts. It's now a matter of serving and protecting the citizens of this country. And you know what? I think that should and does extend to people who are not citizens of this country. Just because somebody's visiting from a foreign land does not make it okay to fucking kill them. When you don't come forward for whatever reason, that reason is no longer your personal business. If you tell me that you'll go in with me to turn in these predators and tell what you know, and you don't do it because you got your kids with you, it's not your personal business. Although it is a valid reason. I'm not going to deny that, and I'm not going to take that away from you. But when you said you'd go in with me, you didn't. Now, after the fact, with you not speaking up about it, how is that not supposed to feel like a setup? You tell me if I set up the meeting or the appointment that you will go in with me. And then you tell me when we get there that you can't go in with me because you got your son with you. Now, obviously, I'm trying. Obviously, there are things that Miss Peaches has done in that situation. That's Kayla Trujillo. There are things that she was actively involved in that situation. There are things that she did try to do to help. But the cops pretended that none of those things happened, and Miss Peaches never came forward about it. She knew that it was an outright lie, but she made zero effort to come forward about it. Just like between when Natalie disappeared and when I literally had to break the law to turn in my predators. She hadn't come forward about any of that. Just like for an entire year, over an entire year before Natalie was killed. Miss Peaches just couldn't make the time. When she did have time, it was time for her to talk. Because of the sensitive subject matter, we had to wait for her kids to go to bed. This is before Natalie was killed. I'm going to Kayla Trujillo to try to get help, and Joanna Taylor Smith to try to get help. I'm going to Maddie Boa to fucking beg her to put a stop to it. Maddie Boa, you guys want to pretend that I was stalking and harassing people? No, I was being stalked and harassed, and I was begging for help putting a stop to it. But people couldn't stop. Just couldn't stop telling me that I don't have it that bad. They're not listening to me. They're busy telling me what to think and what to feel. I'm getting frustrated because they're literally not taking a breath that I can speak in. And Mark Swanigan, too. Mark Swanigan telling me, like, all right, I get that you're black, dude. I get it. I fucking get it. Taking abuse, and when I'm telling you about the abuse that I'm taking, instead of blowing me off and telling me about the south side of fucking Chicago growing up, this ain't Chicago 1964, dude. This ain't a trip down memory lane. This isn't nostalgia. This is current events. They're happening right now, Marcus Swanigan. And what's he do? He gives me fucking advice. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's giving me advice. I'm like, please call me and listen. I'll just type. I'm like, holy fuck, anything that I type, you're gonna fucking take wrong. Why don't you call me up and listen? And when you call me up and listen, actually listen. I already heard all of your suggestions. I read them. I read your suggestions. When you made them over and over and over again. I read them over and over and over again. So when we're on the phone, finally, how about stop pushing that shit? If there's something I'm not capable of doing, there is a reason I'm not capable of doing it. And I'm tired of trying to get you on the phone to get you to listen. I have disabilities. All right? These are not choices. You want to type at me like this is a choice. No, it is not. PTSD from abuse, that is not a decision. You want to call me a snowflake? There aren't many soldiers in the U.S. military today that got as many dead friends as I got, as many dead loved ones. It ain't foreigners killing us. It's negligence. It's dereliction of duty. It's tyranny. You know, here's how you support a tyrant. You ignore them. Here's how you support a predator. You ignore them. Here's how you help a predator get away. You tell your daughter on the playground he only hits you because he likes you. Blam, that easy. That's just as a kid. As an adult, the equivalent is you just need to let it go. I don't want to hear about it. You're being negative. You shouldn't let this consume you. It's destroyed every part of my life. Forced me into a situation where I will be victimized. People victimize whoever it is that's easiest to victimize. And here in the United States, it's all about pretty. You can see the bias in the newspapers, in the courts, in the news, in the media, social and otherwise. You say it's wrong to do this to black people, but you don't care when that black person is homeless. You say it's wrong to do this to Mexicans. What about when that Mexican is homeless? What about if they're Puerto Rican? Does it make a difference? Wrong is wrong no matter what color your skin is. Wrong is wrong no matter what gender you are, and it is not okay, absolutely not okay, to ignore the law, the way the courts, the way the police, the way that mandated reporters have done. What these people have done is fleece the American public for tax dollars. A lot of tax dollars. Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, who didn't do their jobs, received tax dollars for that. Jeff Ritter, Kara Heller received your tax dollars for not doing their jobs, for not coming forward, for allowing me to continue to be victimized over and over again. But they had good reason. It's actually not a good reason, but it's valid according to your understanding. These are mandated reporters who didn't do their job as mandated reporters, just like many other mandated reporters before them. They make me jump through mental health hoops. I try to turn in my abusers, and I have to jump through mental health hoops. You know how that feels? These people all know that they did wrong. I went to them for help because I was being abused and they're mandated reporters. I explained to them that that was the reason that I was there. They told me if I jumped through all of these expensive goddamn hoops that eat up all of my disability money, and they want to tell me it's free. It's not free. And with the number of fucking appointments that you want me to go to, and you want me to set up a whole bunch of fucking rides, it's going to cost me more money to go to all of the appointments that you want me to go to. With the frequency of them, I'm trying to turn in predators, and this is what you give me? Hey, here is a gauntlet of expenses for you, Sean David Schwartz, and we're going to pretend that it's free. When you are abused as an at-risk adult, you are sent to mental health to turn it in. And mental health tells you it's not their job, you have to go to the police. I've tried going to the hospital because they're supposed to have social workers before. This is the problem with having to go in alone and not having somebody that takes it seriously, because they haven't taken the time to look at the evidence. If they don't speak up and verify it, or at least care enough to actually go in with me, how much good is that going to do me? Mandated reporters don't have to do their jobs if you go in alone. That's not how it's stated legally, but that is how it is in reality. In Tacoma, Washington, I was put through hell. When I tried to turn in officers, the officers in the dispatch played fucking head games with me, just like they did in Nebraska. And then they pretend it didn't happen, call me mentally ill, and the intimidation prevents me from having a day in court or showing evidence or facing my accusers. The problem here is that the people at the hospital may be friends with some of these officers. My disability shouldn't be getting used like this. And I got tools so I can fix my stuff. I got wires because there's stuff falling off all over the place. I got projects because it helps keep my mind busy, but no place to do it, no place to do it, no place to do it. I got the homeless telling me one thing, but then I got cops telling me another. Cops will lie to you outright knowing it's a lie, but people will also spout their ignorance at you, not knowing it's ignorance. That's why I look it up. When people want to argue their ignorance, like, holy shit, no, you're telling me that the way that it works is not the way that it works. Here's the thing. You come forward. You make police report with victim. You record it. I record everything for a reason. Because you're not going to. And that is never beneficial for the victim. And then we have to take your word for it. And your word may change depending on how angry you are. Oh, sure, you had good intentions, but you didn't follow through. And people got killed, and it is your fault. Legally, it's your fault. And that's the most fucked up thing that you guys are not getting. Every single one of these mandated reporters should have taken me seriously instead of treating me like a schizo. When I say no victim left behind, Scott Scudder, if this shit happened to him, even with him being diagnosed as schizophrenic, it would not be okay to look away. And at least he has a family that would be there, a family that loves him, a family that looks out for him. For me, not having that, I have to go to agencies and places that are going to blow me off because I have to go in alone. They say they can't do nothing. Well, according to the law, or according to the people that I'm supposed to go to before you that I was told to go to. See, I go the legal route, and it doesn't work. The legal route sends me on a wild goose chase. The places that I'm told to go, I go to, or I call. But I need to find somebody to go to those places and call with me, or it didn't happen. That's how it's treated. It's treated like I didn't make the effort. And it's their word versus mine. When I try to turn in my predators in the DHS and police departments for discrimination, resulting in death, resulting in assaults, resulting in predators continuing to get to walk, I am afraid to go to the police for a reason. I'm afraid to go to DHS for a reason. Look at how many times I've gone in alone, and yeah, sure, they're nice, they talk nice, but then they don't follow through. They don't follow the law. They don't take a look. They don't assist at all. I can't do this alone. It doesn't matter how many places they tell me to call. They're just going to pretend I didn't try calling anybody and didn't make any efforts. And that has been shown time and again. I went to mandated reporters to turn in the abuse. And yes, even if it is a fucking police officer, you have to do your job, dummy. Sexual assault is sexual assault. Physical assault is physical assault. Taking advantage of a disabled person is still taking advantage of a disabled person. You understand that if you're not there, it's going to be their word versus mine. It's not my fault that you weren't there. You want to keep doing this, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. You made me do it alone. You should have come forward on your own. I shouldn't have had to beg you to give a shit. So here's the reason I told the truth about the situations. All these people said, hey, Sean, if you ever need anything, just let me know. What I needed them to do was to tell the truth. Did I go to you for help? Did you offer help? A lot of people understandably didn't want to come forward about their part, even though they had their heart in the right place, like Kayla Trujillo. When Natalie disappeared, the first thing she was fucking hopping to is trying to find a way out. Trying to find a way to hide her involvement and her brother's involvement and her baby daddy involvement and A-Bear's involvement and how they all acted a goddamn fool when I went to them for help. Their personal business. It's horrible, isn't it? Their excuses for not coming forward, I recorded and posted on YouTube and on Facebook, as well as messages, and I got a whole lot more. I shouldn't have had to do that. Now, when these people are telling me that they're afraid for their families, that their families are being threatened, yes, that is fucking admissible in goddamn court. The fucking head games played by these people are admissible in court. The fact that people are dead, well, that really does put a damper on things. It also makes it so that mandated reporters want to be fuckheads. I'm afraid of the police for a reason. But I have to turn in situations with human trafficking. I got to keep in mind that it's a small town and that the police have probably taken in hundreds of people to the hospital. People at the hospital are going to be familiar with the police and want to assume that the police would do no harm, which is why I record things. If they want to make that assumption and treat me accordingly, especially given I am trying to turn in a lot of abuse and I have to be afraid of the police, that's an important thing to note. I also need to have them understand that I have been repeatedly sent to mental health who says it's not their job. It's the police's job. According to the law, it actually is mental health's job. Yeah. I actually fall under 2 or 3 of the categories for mandated reporters to have to do something. Oh, I need a fucking shower. All these people, I can't take care of myself. I can't function. They're telling me to go to places I've already been to. I already know they exist. Those places don't stop the abuse, and they don't stop the fact that I cannot function when forced to live like this. I can't function. Instead of doing something about my predators, cops tell me I just need to move along. Or they send me to mental health. Great. It's a big fucking help. And that's one of those things where you guys don't realize it. When someone needs you to go in with them, it means with them. Because if they have to go alone, it is a very scary thing because cops are inherently corrupt. The fact that they ignored actual evidence, did everything they could to prevent evidence from coming out in court, or to prevent me from even going to court, allowing the same predators access to me on multiple occasions, knowing that I'm trying to turn them in and I'm being threatened, harassed, and intimidated for trying to turn them in. You know what it's like to be threatened, harassed, and intimidated by law enforcement because they broke the law? I think I have enough gas to get to the hospital. Breathe, right? It's your advice. You say it's okay for a man to cry, but you make fun of him for crying. You say it's okay for him to have emotions, but then you punish him if he's not Spock. And then if he is Spock, you punish him for being Spock or for not being someone else. If your personal business is the reason that you didn't come forward, if your personal business is the reason that you allowed people to harm an innocent man who you knew to be innocent, the point here and the moral of the story is that when there are crimes committed against an at-risk adult, you no longer have the illusion of privacy. You don't have it legally. None of you do. Not one of you. Not a single one. Close my eyes, go to a happy place. Control my breathing. If any of the people I went to for help before Natalie died had actually helped put a stop to this, none of their excuses that they told me in conversations that I recorded would be on YouTube. I got a lot of people like Dan Faber who promised he was going to help me. We get to see him backtracking after he committed some crimes, and he actually admitted to some of this stuff on YouTube, which is great. But then he wants to, in a conversation, text messaging between me, Megan Missigatis, and what's her name, Marcia Estrada, and of course Dan Faber. He wanted to go out of his way, knowing that it's a group conversation, to intentionally mislead the situation, which is great news because, well, it's against the law, which is great. It's wonderful. A lot of people made mistakes based on bad assumptions. Maybe they shouldn't have just assumed that I was retarded and didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. My chest hurts most of the time. People threaten to kill my family, tell me I gotta ignore those predators, so they do it again and again and again. I gotta try to calm down a little bit. I'm probably gonna cry again. I'm gonna be back.